Hi, Prof. TD here. Welcome back to our Marriage Lockdown Corner.
Hello viewers at home. We are back to our Marriage Lockdown Corner. As the co-host, Dr. T.I., we continue today to talk about marriage issues. Every marriage has its highs and lows, but when your spouse's open hands become cold, you have all the reasons to be worried.
Indeed, you have all the reasons to be worried because open hands are meant to provide love, provide security, provide care, and indeed provide warmth. And therefore, if it's missing, you are in trouble.
Viewers at home, today's lockdown conversation is meant to reflect on this issue of open hands growing cold. Because if they are left unattended, the entire marriage is bound to grow cold.
For your conversation to be beneficial, you have to
Open up,
engage,
listen.
enrich, and be enriched.
As usual, in our conversation, we would like to highlight some of the signs of the cracks in our marriages. Last time we dealt with the drivers which drive couples apart. So today we are going to deal with the signs of open hands when they grow cold. Prof, can you please take us through on the signs of hands growing cold in marriage?
When we had our own conversation around this matter, we identified 7 signs that points out to hands growing cold. The first one is around the issue of love and romance, where your hands grow cold, less touchy, less cuddly, less interest on the other when it comes to your intimacy. And mostly it's because people are starting to cheat or they have started flirting with others in the process. The second sign is around infertility, where you're not getting children. So this one is a very critical one, especially in our African context, where a person is expected at least to have children. And now when you're not having children, people start to taunt you, they start to mock you, they start to ridicule you, even some laughing at you.
In some other countries,
Yes.
they even call maybe a woman who doesn't have children to say it's mwa zero,
Mwa
meaning that
zero.
she doesn't have any child.
Any child. In other instances, they will call the person a donkey. You have married a donkey. And it's so painful. And this can cause at least a distance between those who are married. The third issue is around gender-based violence. When these hands, instead of providing warmth, romance, and security, you start manhandling, or if there is such a term, woman handling, your spouse. So we start fighting. So these hands, in a way, they end up becoming very, very cold.
Like now, this time wherein we are in our homes, and I think now the days have been extended from 21 to more than 21, and people are still sharing the same space, and there are this kind of small little battles within the marriage cycle.
Yes, and others, unfortunately, they lead to violence because people cannot cope being in the same space 24/7. Some start to get depressed, some start to withdraw, some start to become more physical in their approach because they can't handle the pressure.
And some will even start to raise issues which were buried long time ago. And because of the space which couples find themselves in, they also start to have this small resentment, they fight, and maybe sometimes children are even watching this.
And this ties very well with the sign number 4, which is your skeleton in your closet. Normally, when people come to marriage, they have a history.
Yeah.
And sometimes you want to hide that history. Or you create something, say you are not faithful and you have created a child outside your marriage cycle. And therefore, this kind of skeletons in your closet might pop up
Yeah.
in the process. And the minute they pop up, they might cause that these hands become as cold, because then they create what you have identified as resentment. And sometimes people tend to withdraw from the conversation, or sometimes even resort to, as we have indicated, the issue of violence, where you intimidate the other to silence.
But sometimes people are scared to let their skeleton out of their closet because they think it is going to work against them. And sometimes they are scared, how will the other person think about them? Let's say we are talking about it now, people have been together for more than 20 years, more than 15 years. And now you are saying, if you have a child outside a marriage, say it out. People are scared to do such things.
Exactly, because you never know how the discussion will turn out. Sometimes you might be forgiven, sometimes it might lead to divorce. So that's why you need to open up and try to listen to the other, and try as much to embrace the other, and let these hands be as warm in terms of forgiving the other in the process. The fifth sign is when you prioritize your work and you become a workaholic in the process. Work to the detriment of your own marriage, where you pay less attention to the other. And this is killing as many marriages.
Yeah.
As many marriages. I mean, you work, you have colleagues, you know, some of them end up stressed up. So some of them end up in depression. Some are even getting stroke because of work, and you forget that you are a married person as well.
Yeah, like this time in our discussion earlier,
Yeah.
we were talking about the communications which are done through, it's either through emails or through WhatsApp, which have been created from our workspaces, wherein you have to respond maybe before 12, you have to respond before 4 p.m. And that means that you always have to check always in your phone or email. And remember, the space we are using right now is not our normal workspace. We are at home trying to help children with homework, trying to do this and that in the house. So the moment you are more on your phone, the moment you are more on your email, it creates some tension which can cause a havoc even within the family. And the other thing which I would like to highlight on is the issue of pursuing wealth. Many times, when the more people become educated, they want even to show that off with their lifestyle. They want to drive big, they want to have big houses, they want to have everything which can show to other people that indeed they are up to that level. And that on its own, it creates gaps, it creates the hands which grow cold, because one to be always out seeking for that wealth in order to stay on the same level is one of the dangers, which is one of the things which we are discussing today.
Indeed, because ordinarily when you are working hard and you tend to become a workaholic, you tend to get tired more easily. And therefore, when you come back home, you are tired. The only thing you can do maybe is just to sit, eat,
Watch TV.
watch TV, and before you know it, the TV is watching you. And in the end, you pay less attention to your spouse and even your children in the whole process. The sixth issue that we have identified, which is a sign of hands growing cold, is around grief, where you will lose maybe a child, be it a premature child, or be it a child who is lost because of sickness, or somebody that you are very attached to in your family. And this process of grieving affect your marriage, affect how you relate with the other. Because mostly people end up withdrawing. People end up giving up on their romance life, and it becomes something that drives an edge between the two of you. And the seventh sign that we have identified has to do with when helping hands hurts. When helping hands hurts. It is a time when you open up your family, your house, your marriage to be able to assist, be it friends, be it relatives, be it strangers. But at the end, these people who come in, those that which you were helping, they end up driving a wedge between the two of you. They interfere in your marriage in such a way that you end up fighting.
So it means that as couples, you need to be very, very careful.
Very careful.
Remember last time we said everything that comes between your relationship, you need to cut.
Cut.
What could be the possible solutions then?
Look, the first thing that couples need to do is to identify those signs in their marriage, signs that are leading to hands becoming as cold. Identify them, write them down, and start to open up and talk about this issue. This is number one. Number two, we need what we call balancing act.
Yes.
If you are working and working hard, which is something that we encourage because people have to indeed work hard, but you always have to balance your work and your social space, including your marriage. Give time, pay attention to what is happening in your marriage.
In fact, one need to know and understand the different hats or caps which you wear. When you wear a work cap, you need to remember that when you come back home, you wear a motherly cap, you wear a sisterly cap, you wear a wife cap. So these different caps, one need to balance everything.
You need to be able to move from, and it requires balancing your emotions, because you might come back from work, you are angry because something happened there, and you want to translate that in your household space. You want to translate that into your own marriage. It becomes very, very difficult. So the balancing act is as critical, emotionally, physically, and indeed psychologically.
Yeah.
On the issue of children, there are three things which you need to pay attention to. The first one is what we learn from the biblical text, the narrative of Hannah and Peninnah. Hannah didn't have children. And what she did when she was touted, when she was ridiculed, mocked, and even laughed at. She started to turn everything, her sorrows, into prayer. And that resource is what most of the women, most of the men who are experiencing, going through this challenge, don't realize that they can turn to prayer. Turning to prayer means you trusting God. And this is the second issue. To say, remember, when we talk about children, the two of us don't have the powers
Yeah.
to bring children here on earth. It's all dependent on God. He's the one who is able to close the womb. And therefore, we need to go back to Him prayerfully and trusting that the very Lord who might have closed one's womb should be able to open it in the process. So we need to trust that children are from the Lord, and God must be trusted to resolve this problem of not having children. And the third one is that we need to start to get medical advice.
Yeah.
To date, science is able to come on board and be able to assist us big time. And therefore, we should not shy away just because we may be a praying couple to make use of medicine and advices that come from that fraternity. We should be able to make use of that.
On that note, sometimes you hear couples who do not have children saying that I can take whatever just for me or just for us to have children. What advice can you give to such couples?
The danger with that is that you end up hiring, say for instance, another woman to give birth to your child. Then you end up literally handing over your husband, for instance, to another woman, so that you'll be able to get a child. That's very dangerous. My advice is that you need to learn to relax, because in the process of relaxation, that's where the Lord is even able to bless you, because you are content with what you have. You are content with what you are going through.
Wait on the Lord.
Exactly.
Wait on the Lord.
Exactly.
Because your battle is on your knees.
And when it comes to the issue of the skeletons in your closet, once again, open up. Just be truthful, be honest. Tell your partner, this is my history. Because if you don't do that, secrets always have a way
To come out.
to come out.
Yeah.
So please open up in that regard.
Pray about it.
Exactly.
Because even the Bible says, for you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Many people, many couples are in their marriages. They have these skeletons. They just cross their fingers that I wish I'll go to my grave without anyone
it coming
knowing.
out.
Yes.
Exactly.
So yes, it's very important.
Exactly. And then the other solution is that when it comes to external influences, and this we're going to repeat, when it comes to external influences, take a scissor and cut. The last two issues in closing. One, stop the abuse in your marriage. Be it psychological, be it emotional, be it physical. Just stop it. Start to be as gentle, caring, and loving. And if there are issues where you have differences, try not to resolve them when you are still angry. Calm down and engage openly and be honest about those issues that are causing a problem in your marriage. In that way, you will overcome gender-based violence in your marriage. And the last issue is around fanning the flames of love in your marriage. These hands must forever be as warm. Your touch should be a healing touch in your marriage. Enjoy each other's company and enjoy romance until you are separated by death.
Final words from us today. If cold hands are left unattended,
It will lead to a very lonely journey,
it will be very frustrating.
and indeed, at times, giving birth to fear, anxiety, and depression.
Your marriage will grow cold as well.
Please, open your hands, keep them warm, and forever warm. You will enjoy.
If you find our marriage lockdown corner helpful, please do not forget to like, share, give comments, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time,
Shalom.
Shalom.